at rendabroadcasting.com.
7:45 in the morning. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. He is Bob Pollock from the Extension Service, joining us as he does on a Friday here in February. A conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. If you'd like to call and ask Bob a question, you can certainly do that. The phone numbers 349-WCCS or 479-1160. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Well, that's good to hear. As we get into the middle portion of February, it is not going to be long before we're outside. No. The first order of business when you get outside after a winter is cleaning up the yard because you'll have all kinds of sticks, and then out along the edges you'll have stones from the plows and damage to take care of. So it won't be long before we're out there actually doing that.
Yeah, the snow's melting off, so you can start to see where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we'll get some more to cover that up again for a while, who knows?
They say an inch of it tomorrow. We've got some road to travel between now and then. We will be getting out there.
But the days are getting a little longer.
Yeah.
Which is good, and we know it's coming.
So that being the case, we're beginning to see some signs, just tiny little signs. I noted that when the weather got warmer last week and then this week for a couple of days, the stink bugs, all of a sudden, they were back, and they seem to be everywhere. So they've been overwintering. They've been hiding in the house, haven't they?
They've been hiding. They've been overwintering. They've been tucked in wherever they can tuck in.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you get a couple sunny days or a little bit warmer weather, and then some of those insects that are overwintering as adults, they start to activate a little bit, move around a little bit.
Yeah. So that's one of the signs. Another is I note the bird feeder is getting more active. Don't put the bird feeder out until we get to this time of the year, because I think that the birds pretty much are sheltered in the woods until now. But they're getting out, and you wonder about the types of seeds that you put out and whether those seeds will manifest themselves in weeds. Particularly, you think of some of the more troublesome weeds because those are actual seeds that are going to be replanted in their own special way, aren't they?
Yes, they are. If they don't get processed properly, they'll remain as seeds and maybe germinate somewhere.
So they do get
most of the things in there won't become invasive or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they can start and grow. And a lot of times you'll see that anything that gets knocked out or drops to the ground below the feeder or around oftentimes will start to grow some sort of a grain.
Yeah, thistles in particular. Thistles seem to be quite prevalent in the area around the patio where the bird feeder is. They tend to make their appearance, but that's okay, because that's a little bit of nature coming.
It is part of the cycle.
Lots
of we have many online opportunities that are available almost daily these days, and depending on what kind of topics you're interested in, carbon sequestration. There's an oddball thing that may not have any meaning whatsoever. But there has been activity with that in recent years, especially as we look to curb the greenhouse gas issues and energy issues.
Well, that's been big, I know, with our local politicians. The technology as it advances makes carbon-based fuels more palatable. And the development of sequestration techniques and technology can only be helpful. But how does it have an application for us?
And so if you're a landowner, if you own forest, wooded land, you might be getting contacted by somebody that wants to pay you money for you just for your land that sits there, because it's almost like putting money in the bank. In saving it, we can do that with carbon. And so forests can hold that carbon in place. And there's people that may need to lease that or purchase that because they're maybe polluting or causing issues that they can't, pollution that they can't just solve themselves or stop today. Maybe over time they can incorporate new technology and practices to reduce their emissions. But today, if they can buy up a piece of ground that has carbon on it, then that can offset that. And we've seen that through time in different ways. But right now, one of those ways is the storage of this carbon.
Which is done how?
Well, you don't really have to do much. The forest itself is doing that. It's keeping it from moving off site, and they can kind of calculate how much is there, and then that goes into how much it might be worth to somebody to kind of borrow that or lease that. So people could be getting contacted where we want to pay you money to tie up your land for usually years.
So they're purchasing offsets?
Yes.
Is really what they're doing?
Yep.
Okay.
So anyway, getting back around, if you want to learn more about that, we've got a number of there's articles, there's webinars that you can listen to, and articles that you can read regarding this, so that if you would happen to get contacted, or maybe you're interested in it and want to lease your land for that purpose.
Actually pursue it.
Yeah. That can help give you, because there are entities going around throughout the state wanting to do that. And so your neighbor might decide to do that, and then all of a sudden then you get contacted because you have woodland that adjoins that. And so they're trying to buy up blocks of ground that can, give them enough carbon offset to offset their
emissions.
their emission issues that they have.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
and
so,
that's that. When you say there are links online, you're talking about Penn State.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure you can find some other places, but I know they've been working on that. They have folks that are interested in that, looking at it, and they've done some webinars and articles and things just so that you can learn more about that, see if it's right for you. It's almost like if somebody wanted to lease your gas. Yeah. It's similar to that, but.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me as well, and I don't know that this resource is up there, but I know that for metallurgical coal, they're really interested in that, and so there are mining companies that are going around to buy up blocks of underground because of metallurgical coal, which is different from coal used in power plants and that type of thing. Metallurgical coal is a much cleaner burning coal that is
higher quality,
used in the process of steel. So I know that's happening and happening here in Indiana County too. So that might be one of the resources that you can look up as well.
Yeah.
What are some of the other types of things we see there?
And that's just one little thing, but there's all kind of things on taking care of your trees and your woods and waterways and streams and all sorts of topics like that are available, and as long as you have an electronic connection and you can get into that, which tends to be some of our challenges. Still a challenge, but or maybe you can go to a public place and also gain access to this stuff. But just because, in a lot of ways, that's where we are now.
Well, water has
forced
become
to go that way, but.
Water has become one of the really big issues that we're talking about, and particularly rural waterways. And farm pollution is one thing, but soil erosion, getting down into the waterways and dirtying up that's something that I know has been something that is being kicked about.
Right.
And
and
there are a lot of materials online about that.
Yes.
But Extension or Penn State Ag. The various types of resources they have there, you're right, are just amazing because you're talking planting. I know the bee section is really big.
Yes.
And the insect section overall, that's another big one. But there's a nice section about marketing, going to Saturday morning farm markets and those sorts of things, and how to get your products prepared for that.
Yeah, and there's actually a new series that's starting that's going to go on for months, but you can get into that, and it's called the underground. I don't have the exact title, but I know underground's part of that. Mm-hmm. But it's looking at, are you losing customers? How to keep your customers? And it's actually meant to be a series that will go on for a year, but you can enroll in that, and there'll be things that go on all throughout the year related to that, to building your business, keeping your customers, how to identify, and surveying, ways to survey your customers to make sure that you're providing what they want, when they want, how they want, so that you can keep in tune with that. So that's a new series that's just starting up here.
So I'm looking at the Penn State Extension site right now, and folks on Facebook can see this too. The featured webinars right now, a tree tenders training series.
Yes, so that's right. And so that's for really for municipalities, people that might be on shade tree commissions or in organizations that want to plant, maintain, care for trees. That's a series of workshops too that you'll get a certificate for participating in that. But it goes through all those basic steps from even how to establish a shade tree commission and then getting all the way to planting and caring for trees.
There's a webinar on dining with diabetes. There's a news item as well that is something that came up last year, and we're running out of time here, I know. But the sale of two popular landscape plants that are now banned in PA, the Japanese barberry and the calorie pear. You're not going to be able to get those at your nurseries anymore, huh?
Those are being phased out right now. So there's a period of time where they'll still be able to be in the trade, but after that, they're done.
Because they're invasive.
Yes. And maybe not always so much here, but in other places. And then the other thing that happened to barberry is up in the Northeast, in the New England states, they did a study with that in ticks, and they found that those barberry plants, especially, in the wild, can harbor, that can be a place where ticks can hang out because they're a dense, thick plant. They can provide a lot of cover. And so I'm sure that kind of also led in to that, but barberry has been on lists for a number of years, but that might have sealed the deal.
Yeah.
And then as one state does that, and then another looks at it, and then those get added in. But yes, that's important.
So there you go. It's extension.psu.edu where you can see all of this material, and of course
sign up. You can actually sign up for any things that are of interest to you, and then you'll get notifications about when maybe an article is posted or when a workshop is coming up or a webinar related to those topics.
Meanwhile, if you need information locally, your office is 465-3880.
Yes.
And folks can get in touch with you for their issues.
Most definitely.
He's Bob Pollock. It's the Extension Service, and it is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. We're a couple of moments away from the start of the news at the top of the hour, and then Josh Widdison in our WCCS newsroom right after Fox.
Looking to feel young again? The Lumix laser at Rowley Family Chiropractic is a safe drug and surgery-free way to treat pain. Just ask our patient.
I tried everything on my knees.